the history of the previous disaster are gone. So that's the reason finally, we have to keep the original local names because it carries something from the history. That's one of many reasons why we would like to have standardized regulation. But this is also with the Ministry of National Development Planning, Ministry of Home Affairs, and also from university. But we try, hopefully by the end of this year, regulation is there already, government regulation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much to all delegates that I posed unacknowledged questions to. I appreciate the responses that you were all able to give. And I just wanted to use these to outline the breadth of information that is contained within the national reports that we had before us. Sometimes I feel we may overlook the importance of the small snippets of information that are contained therein. I would like to provide an opportunity from any other delegate that has questions in relation to any of the country reports to indicate that you would like to speak, and I will give you the floor to ask the questions of the countries that you would prefer. I recognize the United Kingdom and pass the floor to the delegate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a number of questions. Shall I just launch in?
Just launch in.
Thank you. So I have a question for Cyprus, if I may. The chairman has already mentioned the complete gazetteer of Cyprus, which, if you are not familiar with it, is a most extraordinary work. It's quite easily the largest volume in my office. It is a magnificent work. And as Mr. Hadjiraftis has mentioned, there are some 75,000 entries in it. I wondered if there are any plans for a new edition of that work, or if not, how any changes to the names recorded in the gazetteer at the moment are collected and published.
I pass the floor to a delegate from Cyprus to answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As maybe you remember from the last conference we had in New York 2 years ago, I submitted a new edition regarding the sea names of Cyprus. So this was an additional gazetteer supplementing the big gazetteer of Cyprus on geographical names. As I mentioned, this gazetteer is available online and is completely digital. In addition, all these geographical names, which are approximately 75,000, they are a part of our spatial data infrastructure. So every geographical name has specific coordinates. And these coordinates are very accurately stored because they come from large-scale cadastral plans, as I mentioned in my previous statement. Thank you.
Just to follow up with one point from the United Kingdom, if there are changes to a particular name within your record, obviously the digital material will be updated. Is there any proposal to issue further publications of the large hard copy in the future? Thank you. I pass the floor to Cyprus.
Committee is going to update this gazetteer and prepare a new edition because, as I said before, everything is electronically recorded and it can be easily reproduced.
Thank you for that clarification. I pass the floor back to the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for Germany, if I may, on the presentation of minority language names in your country. Your report touched on the status of Frisian, for instance, and Sorbian names. And And I wondered if you could explain for us in what style those names are collected or even shown on maps. Are they shown alongside or subordinate to the German names? Thank you.
I pass the floor to the delegate from Germany. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the question from the distinguished delegate of UK. The Sorbian and Frisian names in our database are equally treated, and so they have the same status, and they are, in that sense, also displayed equally treated on the maps, in our maps of the Federal Republic of Germany. And even in the German federal states, they are equally treated at the moment.
Thank you for that. I did notice that Canada had a comment they would like to make. Perhaps I could pass the floor to the delegate from Canada.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me if I speak from here? Okay, thank you. I also had several questions. Do you want me to pose them one at a time to the different countries, or intersperse them with other people's questions?
Can I confirm if UK has additional questions they'd like to ask, then I'll come back to Canada? Mm-hmm. If that's okay?
I think.
Thank you.
Just leave it.
If I can invite the United Kingdom to take the floor.
Thank you. May I ask everybody to turn to Japan? There is a nice description of the National Gazetteer described with some 4,000 geographical names recorded. And I wondered if you could clarify for us in what form those names are. Are they in Japanese, or are they Romanized according to the Hepburn Romanization system, or do they follow the English style that I think in the 2016 session in Bangkok you described to us as being a sort of more palatable and easier for tourism pre-Olympic preparation style rather than the specifically Romanized form? Thank you.
I recognize the delegate from Japan.
We are preparing the Hepburn system, a Romanized Hepburn system, and also we are preparing English and other Korean and Chinese and French. So we are now preparing some languages.
Thank you. Does that answer the question from the United Kingdom? Do you have other questions that you would like to pose? Please keep going.
Thank you. My next question, in mentioning the country name, you'll see the nature of my question. It is to Czechia. I see that there is a report from Czechia, but that the country name referred to in the document is consistently Czech Republic. And I was very interested to know the impression that you might have of the implementation of this country name, Czechia, that has now been adopted by the UN and by a number of the UN member states, including the United Kingdom. What you think the level of implementation in your own country is? Thank you.
I pass the floor to the Czechia delegate.
Thank you for the question. I must say that at home that the opinion on the new name, the short version of Czech Republic, is divided, that half of the country like this name and half of the country they don't like it and they don't agree with it. Either the Czech version, Česko, nor the English version, Czechia. So I must say that we don't have a united opinion on this.